Before there was the WRX, before there was the Evo, there was only one real option in the United States if you wanted turbocharging, all-wheel drive, a manual transmission, and enough torque to take people to Gapplebee's without leaving sixth gear. Audi S4. In its day, the king of winter hooning. Click the link in the description. You can win this car. Every mug you get is a chance to win this legendary piece of recent automotive history. The link is right there in the description. Click it and go there to find out more. More is what the S4 offered. The 2001 Audi S4 Biturbo Quattro 6MT. More power than an Audi A4, more wheel drive, more gears, bigger wheels, more turbos, 2 of them, more intercoolers, 2 of them, more valves, 5 of them in each cylinder, and more cylinders, 6 of them. And the V6 is mounted longitudinally, and most of the engine is in front of the front axle. But this car feels like it handles neutrally. And on top of that, Audi sold this as a luxury car, even though it was the same size class as a Jetta. By the way, I don't hate Jettas anymore. Due to the current Pennsylvania Turnpike climate and the people out there, my new nemesis is the Nissan Altima. Anyway, the inside of this small car by 2022 standards is awash with slippery leather, maybe wood, thick carpet, and a Bose sound system, which honestly has not aged well. Props to whoever said this in the comments last time. Gosh, it's such a good line. No highs, no lows. It must be Bose. Seriously. Bose in the early 2000s was for people who listened to Harry Connick Jr. and Lou Gramm. Yeah. Just give me that flat mid-range and nothing else. And Bose speakers don't last. Build themselves as a luxury product. Bose. Show them a black interior on a hot day and these things cracked and they're gone. Anyway, this was a premium car in 2001, but who was it for? It was too expensive for young folks and it didn't advertise its performance. It's not fancy looking, it's plain. It only says S4 like once or twice on it. You can't really tell that this is a high-performance car. I mean, I guess the wheels are bigger, but that's it. Even this red paint isn't very flashy. I mean, it looks good, but it's not really exactly pull-me-over red. It's more like, nice lipstick red. So this isn't very appealing to the young people who had, like, rich parent money to buy one of these things. The ride is glass smooth. So it's a comfortable commuter car. But most people who would want a commuter car to be comfortable, they would want something bigger. The doctors or executive types they just buy a Mercedes or a Lexus with an automatic transmission, which is so much nicer to sit in traffic than having to keep operating the rather heavy clutch in an Audi S4. And the gear ratios, long. There's like 1,500 RPM between the low ranges here. That means you don't bang gears like a BMW and certainly not like any Japanese car. So this thing really isn't meant for tight back roads either. You casually row this shifter like you're rowing a canoe on a lazy day, like big long strokes, and then you coast through the torque. As the 2 turbos spool up, you got some momentum and then you shift again. And then you wait for the turbos and it's a big pull again. And then you work your way up to 6th gear. So if you are on the back roads and trying to have fun, I guess you just put this thing in 3rd and that's it. The small displacement V6 sounds the same no matter what rev position you're at. You're not going to really hurt it. But these gears, it has like 3 overdrive gears. 4th gear is 0.9. I guess you can call that 1-to-1, but it isn't. 5th gear is 0.8, and 6th is 0.6. So it's geared for the highway. And that's where the S4 shines. This car is for passing people who are already going 68 miles an hour. But the Pennsylvania Turnpike is 70 miles an hour, and in front of you is a pop-drinking Pittsburgh dad, and you know he is going to get tunnel fear and not slow down under Blue Mountain or Kid County or all the other ones. And you need to get ahead of his GMC Arcadia now. And even if your predicament happens to be one of those situations where you got to merge onto like a state highway, but it's one of those deals where there's no traffic light and you got to make a left across 4 lanes. I mean, you go out to rural Pennsylvania, these moments are here. Left turn, cross 4 lanes, no traffic light, and you got to look, and you need power now. So you got to accelerate hard at the same time turning. Audi knew what they were doing with Quattro. But, and we're going to get to this car was the tip of the spear with all-wheel drive technology in the early 2000s. I mean, Audi was the vanguard. There's a lot of technology in this car. And honestly, it's a bit too soon. This is a complicated machine. No car ever realizes its full potential without hitting every bump in the road to get there. And even reaching the summit just means coming to the realization that potential is exactly that, potential. There are no levels embedded in that possibility. You've either achieved it or you haven't. And so it is with the Audi S4, which is the best possible version of what it can be, simply by not trying to be more than it is. You see, the Audi S4 started out in 1991 as a performance version of the Audi 100, but that was killed off by 94, until Audi made the plan to relaunch it in 97, this time as a performance take on the A4 Executive Compact. It's a small car, also known as the Type 8D. The second generation S4 sat on top of the A4 trim line and had global reach. This was marketed in places that didn't even get the RS4. Now, we had to wait until 99 to get this car, which runs on an updated version of the B5 platform for the A4 line. But it was worth the wait, in large part because it offered an experience that was utterly devoid of pretentiousness. And I think that's what the S4 has going for it. This is a fast car that doesn't look like it's fast at all. Standard equipment on the S4 is this beautiful. It's a 2.6-liter twin-turbo, 90-degree, third-generation V6 engine. The identification code for the U.S. model was APB. It's Alpha Papa Bravo. Combined, it has a cast-iron cylinder block, but has 2 aluminum cylinder heads. It produces approximately 261 horsepower at 5,800 RPM and 295 pound-feet of torque at 1,850 RPM. In Europe, not in the US. We got a nerfed version. This makes 247 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. But that still goes hand in hand with the electronically limited 155 mile an hour top speed. And that's really due to the tires on this thing. You want to go fast. You want to have DOT recognize that this can go faster than 155 miles an hour. Well, maybe it's more of a Euro thing. But the point is, tires matter. And if you want to go faster than 155, you need special rated tires for that. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But then you need like Pirelli P0s or something like that if you really want to touch those speeds. Now, factory claims acceleration from 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. Again, this is a 20-year-old car. And the urgency, which the way the Quattro system just digs in, it's delightful. It makes you look like a better driver than you are. This thing moves like a Sheetz employee running 20 minutes late on a breakfast of Pop-Tarts and Jocko Energy. This car has no business being this lively. So go ahead, take a friend out for a drive. Panic attacks are now co-op. My favorite soup is cream of battery acid. If the S4 has a secret weapon, it's what I've been dwelling on. Cosmetically, the paint may get your attention, but this isn't the type of car that demands lingering focus. The odds of being blown away by the side of an Audi S4 are about the same as seeing The Rock and Vin Diesel make out on screen. Audi S4, If Common Core math has taught us anything, it's that numbers are subordinate to human will. Sure, 1 + 1 will always be 2, but to come to the right answer, a person has to care about getting it right. And in a general sense, people don't care about being right anymore. They only care about being the loudest. So go ahead, rack up the digits on your McLaren or whatever you have. Electronically limited speed or not, I'm perfectly happy to just cruise across the state in an Audi S4. Because in here, there's no right, there's no wrong, there's no demand to be heard. I don't care if I'm seen. There's just the road and making miles. Now, in its time, the S4 was available in all sorts of colors, from Casablanca white to spicy mustard, with interior leather options that included onyx and silver. And it's all fine. It's kind of like when your parents would tell you to put something nice on. We're going to the Windmill Family Restaurant with your Aunt Mary. So you throw on some slacks and a Dickies button-up, and they just look at you and say, okay. And they have a big sigh, because they know it's not an issue worth going to mattresses over. Electronic options of its time included an Audi navigation system, which this doesn't have, a 6-disc CD changer, which this car does have, and it came with a CD, Leave My Big Ass Dog. It's some local band. I looked this band up and all I found was a SoundCloud, which means maybe whoever owned this car in this past knew this band or was in this band. You could also have a hands-free Motorola cell phone, a premium sound system by no highs, no lows, it must be Bose, and a series of upgrades depending on packages, like HomeLink transmitter, auto-dimming mirrors, it has that. Heated front seats, has that. Outside, windows too, but no expandable ski rack for cold weather. Alcantara leather seats, does not have those. Aluminum carbon fiber trim, no, it has fake wood. You don't really need all this stuff to understand the point I'm trying to make. This isn't for someone who's assembled an entire personality around staggering their gym membership. They only stay on the grind long enough to get the positive reinforcement for trying to get healthier, and then take those likes right back to the couch. Yes, this car was famously successful in motorsports, winning 4 races at the 2001 Speed Vision GT. And it meant a lot to Audi's motorsports prospects. But you never feel like you're driving something that wasn't meant for the public roads, like you would with a more dedicated sports car. The Audi S4 toes the line between order and chaos. Audi S4, sponsored by Parking Lot Trust Issues, because you never know when a kid is going to run out in front of your car as you're trying to back out. I guess you could turn on the rear fog light, like everybody who bought an Audi and doesn't know what this button does. I'm just gonna hit this button, I don't know what it does. And then they're driving down the highway forever with their rear fog light on. The asymmetry, I can't stand it. Just want to reach inside, turn that thing off. And they go to their mechanic saying, one of my brake lights is a lot brighter than the other one. I don't know. Freaking Euro packages. It brings me to the total lack of cup holders in this thing. You got this useless thing on the dash and then these little things for, I don't know, shot glasses? That's it. There's no cup holder. You make a car that can maintain 110 miles an hour across Montana, you can't even put a cup holder in it. Anyway, look, with great power comes great responsibility. An Audi S4, this is a free trial that you have to be responsible enough to remember to cancel. If you get rebuild, it's no one's fault but your own. This is a complicated car. If you're going to drive an Audi S4, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. This just doesn't require the willingness to be responsible on the road and change your oil. You have to be accountable for its upkeep in a more demanding way. Yes, this is a great daily driver. It was meant to be. But pretend for a second that it's also the type of car that gets put away when the snow and salt are carpeting the ground. It's made for the salt and the snow. It's somehow durable and delicate at the same time. It's what you get when you lead the charge in technology at the time. But its stealth is perfect. Driving an S4 must be what it's like to be that one guy that has huge nuts. I'm talking about irresponsibly sized balls. You've seen videos. Doesn't even look real. And that's a dude who just walks around like that, but just wears like cargo shorts. Doesn't tell anybody. No social media to brag about him. He could wear nut huggers and just walk around the mall, sucking on his Jamba Juice while the clerks at Famous Footwear eye up the Everest in his Lucky Brand nut huggers. But no, he doesn't do that. He's not advertising his flesh clackers. He just goes about his day and just lets everybody wonder where that sound is coming from.
And so we come to the Audi S4, not the RS4. Oh, the Type 8D had the APB, then it was D2.